What's up? Alright, so this is my first tutorial on playing the keys, and a lot of folks been asking me, can you make a video about playing the keys, because I want to learn a particular song and I want to learn how to play. But before I get into it, I just want to explain that you also have to have a certain mindset firstly before you just jump into this, because basically it's a very simple principle. The principle of see no evil, hear no evil, say no evil, speak no evil. Basically it's all to do with it all comes back to you as an individual. So what you hear, see and say, basically, well, what you hear and see will influence what you say. And it's the same manner with this. So what I listen to and what I see from other people who play this, basically I become in a way, because if I've just been sitting and watching and listening to Oscar Peterson and Art Tatum or whoever, then I'm more likely gonna pick up certain things that some pianists that don't even listen to them will never know, will never even see in their lifetime or career of playing. So you just have to have the mindset that, there will be a mindset that you need to have in order to learn these things, right? So I'm not gonna waste time on talking, because we're gonna get down to it. So first things first, it doesn't matter if you're a professional jazz player. You could be doing, it doesn't matter, man. Like, it all relates back to scales and movements. That's all that's the whole thing. Scales and movements. If you master those two, you literally have the spear and shield. You're basically ready to take on, I know my analogies are like crazy, but you're ready to you're ready to battle. Basically, you have the equipment you need to fight, right? So that's all it is. So that's pretty much what I'm going to try and hammer in these tutorials. Well, not just this tutorial, but then in this series of tutorials. And I'm just going to show you sort of like the relation between each, because these keys and chords and whatever you're going to find in here, they are all related in some way. And it's your job to figure out how they're related, why they're related, and how you can then move to the related keys and chords and stuff. So let's start with scales, right? I think I'll start in this section actually. So let's keep it simple, right? Let's start with the white keys, because that's the most basic thing, right? We're gonna just go with these white keys, right? So right, so there are 12 keys, right? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. There are 12 keys all in all. So basically, let's start with the alphabets, because I don't want to confuse you when I start saying C, E, and all right. So the key, or the most common one that a lot of people use, is the key of C. Normally you start asking, why didn't you start in the key of A? Well, A is somewhere right here, right? And it's a bit weird to start in between, because this key and this key, they're all in between of these two black keys, right? And even if I start in G, then it'll kind of be very weird and very hard to distinguish, right? So it's very easy to start in the key of C, because you have two white keys next to each other. Now you might also say, well, why didn't you start with E and F? Because well, I mean, you could argue you could start in F, but it will catch you out when you start doing things like scales, because the scale of F. But we'll get into that, right? We won't get into that. That's a battle. But C is a good key to start in, because the scale of C obviously is just all white keys, which is kind of false in a way. But anyways, I'm not going to go into that. But it's just white keys. And it's very good, because if you start playing chords in the key of C, you're not really gonna go into much of the black keys, and you're not gonna, it's not gonna be complex. It's gonna be pretty simple, which is good for a beginning, right? So that's the main point. So there are 12 keys, like I said. So why don't we count them from the one I am holding, right? So this is the key of C, right? So let's just do count 1 to 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Can't even get it. 11, 12, right? So let me see if I can actually get all of them. That'll be so cool if I can. Oh gosh, I have big hands, man. It's like, it's hard, right? So these are the keys. I can't even get them, but in between this, right, these are the keys that basically make this keyboard, if that makes sense. So I could take, let's actually move these 12 to the like sort of an octave higher. I don't want to confuse with the terminology, because you will start to have some questions. So I could move this higher. So I could even, so from the last key, I could move to the next one and start counting 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This is my 1, right, by the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Same key, same key, same key, same key. Right. 12 keys. 12 keys. Hey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, 12 keys. Now, in each of, now this is important. This is the part where you really need to grasp, right? In each of these single keys or notes that we've been hitting, right? They consist of a scale which has 8 notes in it. So, Artemis, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Let me describe. So, right, there are 12 keys, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? In this first one, in 1, there is a scale of 8 notes, right? So these 8 notes, you probably, if you did like music, or when, kindergarten, you had the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Now that is a scale. And a scale consists of 8 keys, and it's called an octave, because 8 octave. Yeah, do the math. So, right, so there are 8 keys. So there are different types of scales. There are like tons of scales, but you have the major scale, minor scale, you have the Dorian scale, you have a harmonic minor. Yeah, you have so many, but the the most important ones, the ones that I am going to teach you, are the major scale and minor scale. Probably I'll see if I can get into like the natural minor, the Dorian minor, but that's not important. Melodic minor might be, but it's not really important. Those are like when you're doing things like diminished chords and stuff, then you might probably need to know like a few scales. But I would say, major, minor, master those, like master, major, and minor, and you will find yourself, grasping pretty much all 12 keys easily. You'll find yourself navigating through all 12 keys much easier. So, anyways, so 12 keys, like I said, but in each note, there are 8 keys that make a scale. Now, like I said, let's start with the major one, because I don't want to confuse you. So there is a major scale, which is the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. right? Fa, sol, la, ti, do. Now you probably noticed the do at the first and the do at the last. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, 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 do. Right? Now, this is an octave, but it's the same key. Right? So, if someone says, play me the key of, so this is C, right? If they say, go to D, right? Play me an octave of D, right? So there are 8 notes in between this key and the other D, right? Now, this takes me to the next part, which is how do you construct a scale? So how do I know that, how did I know that D is here and it's not here or it's not here? How do I know that? It's a good question. So here, all right, there are steps and half steps, right? And this is what I really want you to grasp. Don't spend your time, you know, at the moment it's good to memorize half steps and steps, but you know, over time, it's just a way to get your fingers to like feel, you know, like, okay, now I know, right? I just had to think of that. I didn't think of half step. So, you know, I didn't think like that. And anyways, half steps and steps are just like it's just a like a formula which has been put on paper, basically. That's all it is. And, you know, it's a good way to study it because you can formulate it on every single one of those 12 keys. And over time, if you keep practicing, you will literally master how to make a scale. So we're going to focus on the major scale, right? Well, let's just do the major scale. And if you have a pen and paper, I want you to write this down, right? A major scale from the root note, which let's just start from C, right? So if I'm in the key of C, from the root note, I want you to write this. So first put like roots, for example, right? And put a dash, root dash, right? I want you to put this step, dash, step, dash, half step, dash, step, dash, step, dash, step, dash, and half step, right? If you need to repeat, just repeat that. So let's go over what I just said. From the root note, this is important. From the root note, you can apply this in any key. From the root note, right? Step, so we skip the half. So, okay, I didn't clarify this. Right? So, step, that's a step. That's a half step. A half step is like you haven't skipped a note, and a step, you skip a note. So from here, if I say step, you must skip this black key to this guy. That's all it is. That's all it is. Right. So from the root note, I said step, so you skip this black one to the next one. And then from this guy, I said step again. So we skip the black key to this guy. Then I said half step, so you don't skip the next one. Then I said step, so you skip the black one. Then I said step. Then I said you skip, well, then you skip the next one. Then I said step again, so you skip the black one again. Then I said half step, so you don't skip the next one. That's your C major scale. And you can do this in every single key if you use that formula you wrote down. C major scale. Subscribe to my channel and we'll go over the other scales in the next tutorial. Peace.